Okay, I know, hear me out though. I know that this trend or this specific dress has been around for quite a while right now, but I wanted to do it when it first came out and I still want to do it. So I just never came to do it. I never found the time. Now is the time and I still want to wear this dress all summer long, so I will be doing it today. Also, I wanted to point out, what a bizarre picture is that? Cherry blossoms with frickin' snow on top of it. Anyways, today we are going to make this dress, the puff dress. I think Selkie is the first brand I came across that made this dress. And for that, I bought two different fabrics. This is the first one. It's a mint muslin fabric, 100% cotton, with these golden specks on it. So that's really, really nice. I bought 4 meters of that. Hopefully that's enough. And then I bought this rayon cotton mix with these watercolored leaves, this kind of print on it in watercolor style, which I really love as well. It's not going to be an organza dress as the original one is, just because I don't have the fabric and I wanted to make it out of these materials. But I will be trying to somehow get the puff in the hemline similar. Because of the material, it's not going to stand as nicely as the organza does. Therefore, I am thinking about either putting some horsehair in the hem, or if I can find something like that, some sort of stiffening wire. I don't have that right now, but I'll see what I can do. Maybe also some sort of thicker wax thread that I have for my leather machine might be sufficient. I don't know yet, but that's what I'm thinking about, and we're going to start with pattern making today. For the pattern, I am using the bodice pattern of my Lydia Regency dress that is available on Etsy, and I will just make a mock-up to see how the fit is and then also change it up as needed, and also drape the sleeves, which is really important. And then we'll see about the skirt. It's just a ruffled up skirt, so that shouldn't be too difficult. So let's get going. Okay, so I went ahead and just quickly sewed this together just for a mock-up, and we're gonna do a fitting of this bodice right now. So I just printed out the bodice parts, so just the front, the side front, and then the whole back piece. And I actually went ahead and merged the back pieces, which are 2 in the original dress, into one pattern piece, just because it is one simple straight line that you can just put together. And this is how the bodice actually looks like. So in the original dress, this was covered with embroidery. Therefore, this made a really, really nice shape. This needs to be flatter for my boob shape. As you guys know, the dress form that I am using is made by myself to my own measurements. Therefore, it is perfect for draping, stuff like this, to be as exact as it possibly can. And I think I will be changing the spot where the seam is. It's a bit too much to the outside, in my opinion, for this specific garment. I'd much rather have it somewhere here. I'm also going to mark the line that I pinned, so that when I take off the piece, I still know what I fitted. And I'm actually also going to change this line up here, because I don't really like it, what shape it does here. I'll have to figure that out when it's on the table. And here, I mean, that's fine. It's gonna get these huge sleeves that go all the way over the shoulder, and which will start right there as well where the bust line is. And we can go ahead and actually also fit the sleeves, or drape the sleeves rather, because I don't have a piece for that yet. So I went ahead and actually cut out this shape. It's on the fold here for the sleeves. I honestly have no idea if this is gonna fit at all or not. This is a general sleeve shape, but then I was thinking it doesn't go like this, like a normal sleeve would. It has this corner sticking out here. Let's talk about sleeves. So the sleeves for this dress are rather puffy, I would say. And to achieve this kind of oversized puffy look, all you have to do on a very, very simple level is to cut and spread a sleeve pattern. Okay, so normally your sleeve looks something like this, right? You have your shoulder point up here. This is the front. Somewhere in here is also a point, and this is the back. The bodice piece itself normally looks something like this. So somewhere in here is this spot right there. Up here is the shoulder, which goes together with this. And this is the side seam, which is this. In my case though, I don't really have these kind of shapes at all. I have a bodice that covers everything up here. Something like this, with some sort of seam in here. So this here is actually the point where I want to attach my sleeves. It goes all the way up to my shoulder. So normally I have this curve here, which I don't have in my sleeve. So this curve in a normal sleeve pattern wouldn't fit onto the edge of my bodice pattern that I have, or that I want to fill in. So I basically need to make some sort of change of my sleeve that fills this area, especially this corner here. So what I was thinking is this up here goes here, and then it folds down into the side seam right here. This piece here needs to go somewhere here. I need to construct a pattern that has all this room in the front and also in the back area, because in the back it's the same thing, to make up for all of this that the sleeve needs to cover. And then, as this is a very oversized, very big pattern piece, it's literally huge, I also need to enlarge all of this. Now normally in pattern making you would cut and spread. This leaves you with some sort of sleeve, something like this. For this sleeve though, as it's not really accurate, as everything will be gathered down for it to fit onto the person wearing it, this is just a random curve. Doesn't really matter how curvy it is, just make it like this. And then this here is all of this. So from where the sleeve will be attached onto my front piece, all the way to the side seam is this piece right here. So the missing edge, the missing edge that I drafted onto the sleeve piece. Right here it's the same, but for the back. And then here is where the sleeve, so we're talking about this point, which is right here, is where the sleeve detaches from the bodice piece and attaches to itself. So this is the side seam of the sleeve, which goes from here, however you want to construct it. So in my case, as this is very oversized and a huge pattern piece, I want to have fabric to cinch in on the upper arm. So right here, I want fabric to cinch in, right? So I go out something like this, also on the back piece, and then I just connect both of these lines. I'm also measuring a bunch of stuff. Obviously, these two have to be the same measurement. This needs to be the distance from where I attach the sleeve to the side seam. This needs to be the distance of the back piece, respectively. And then here is the shoulder seam. This also, I draped the whole piece, so this will not sit in the middle. It's somewhere here, because the bodice piece, as you have a chest, goes a bit higher than the back piece, so this distance here doesn't need to be as large as the distance here. So there's all of this, but this is basically the general shape I came up with, and all of this will be gathered to, in my case, 37 centimeters, and all of this down here will be gathered to my upper arm width, so that in general it will look something like this. Up here is your bodice, so this is a side view basically. So up here is an elastic, down here is an elastic. This is the side of the bodice. Then obviously, if a person is wearing it, it goes up like this. And then here is puff for the skirt. So this is my solution for my sleeve. I put some elastic in here. And now it fits a bit better, that's good. So I'm just gonna put it on here just to see how the overall look is. Actually fits quite well now. Still needs to be a bit tighter. That's fine. I'll just tighten it up here so that I still have the shape of the sleeve that I put into right here. So now I just need to figure out the distance, and actually the shape I made right here, and also, to be quite honest, I didn't do this with measuring, but can you see how perfect it fits under here onto the seam? That was by chance. Anyways. And because the distance from here to here differs from the distance from here to the side seam, the difference in distance is visible right here in the side seam of the sleeve, because it has a difference down here in the hemline, because these are all related. This will also be gathered or cinched in with an elastic right here. And this might already be almost perfect, to be honest, for the sleeve, because it's supposed to be really, really puffy, like this one. For my Bridgerton inspired dress, where this bodice is also coming from, a viewer actually suggested to put some tulle into the seam right here and right here. Thank you for that suggestion. I will try that out for this dress right here, because I'm really curious if it puffs up the sleeves if I have to. I don't know yet how the fabrics behave, but I figure, as it's just cotton and nothing stiff too much, that it would just plop down, you know? So I will try this out for this dress right here and see how it goes with the tulle in place. But this actually looks really, really promising, and I will take this off and make a pattern out of it. Okay, so I have this seam, which I want to move towards the middle front piece right here. It's pretty straightforward. You just basically need to realign this side seam. Also, I want to make the curve less protruding on the bust area so that it doesn't make an odd shape. So that's the first thing that I'm actually gonna do. And for that, I am just going to realign the middle point in the curve and make it go 5 millimeters towards the right side, so less curvy. And then I took away 1.5 centimeters on all of this side. So what that means is that I have to move all points on this curve 1.5 centimeters to the left. And this should technically be all you have to do. On top here, I wanted to go down 1 centimeter. Like this. And then here we'll go down 3 millimeters, and then obviously here as well. We wanted to check if these seams fit together. So I am doing my usual thing, cutting this right here and then selecting this path. And then down here I'll select objects. And this is actually 16 centimeters. This is also 15.8, so these fit together perfectly. That's it. And then, where's my phone? I also went ahead and took a picture of the sleeve that I made. I'll make a line that is 41 centimeters long, obviously not on an angle. And this is the height of the sleeve. So this is the scale for the sleeve. You can delete that. And now I am just going to, so this is with seam allowance. I can delete this. I'll deal with it by moving it. I'll select everything and then I'll go on objects, path, and then moving path, and then here I'll put -10 in there. Yeah, and it moves it towards the inside. So I can go ahead and delete this. And this is now -1 centimeter, so without seam allowance. So also, if you want to put seam allowance on the piece, you can select this, go on Objects, Path, and Moving Path, and then do plus. And it puts a perfect 1 centimeter seam allowance onto the outside, which I don't want because I don't use seam allowances in my patterns. Anyway, so we need to measure 2 things here. We need to measure from this point, which is 14, and then we need to measure from, oops, that's a bit long, this point, which is almost 14. So let's move this down by 3 millimeters. Okay. Then we just need to put a few other things in here, which is the gathering symbol, this. And then I'll just put a few markers in here. So this right here is the side front seam, back notch, front sleeve seam, back sleeve seam, side seam, like so. So for some reason, this doesn't really fit well. The curves and the seams themselves, they're really all over the place. The top is uneven, asymmetric, and the French seams, to be honest, are really hard to sew in this fabric. As you can see right there, the seams really make an odd shape. They are very much distorted, something that I haven't come across in a long time, to be honest. And also here at the top, like, what is this? So I actually decided to scrap this piece completely and redo everything and cut this out again out of my fabric, and then put some interfacing tape on all the parts, all around them, on every seam basically, that it has a little bit more structure once you iron everything, that it doesn't do this weird wobbly line. And I hope that this is going to solve this issue with the fabric just really not doing what I wanted to do. So let's scrap this and let's start again. I redid everything. I put interfacing on all the seams, also the top, the bottom, everywhere. And as you can see, it solved all the problems. The seams are really, really nice, how they should be. They make a nice curve. They are not all over the place again anymore. So this actually really solved the issue of what I had before. So this is something you can try if you have a similar issue. Just put some sort of interfacing tape or some sort of stabilizer on the seams and you'll find this will solve your problem. At least it did it for me. So I put it on all the seams that need it, which is more or less only the bodice, because the sleeves will be gathered. They need as little structure as possible so that the elastic can work its magic and it doesn't have to cinch in too much of sturdy fabric. So the lighter the better. And I guess it'll work out. I will overlock everything, and then I was thinking about actually making a tunnel for the elastic rather than sewing the elastic in, because I found that sometimes the elastic is not strong enough. And that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm pretty happy with how this looks and that it solved the issue. So I have my sleeves right here. I also went ahead and overlocked all the corners, and then I have some scrap material of my organza that I was working with the last episode. So this is just 7 or 8 centimeters wide organza that I will sew onto the upper edge of my sleeves and gather it with the sleeves so that it might be a help to puff everything up. I don't know if this is gonna be enough. This is pretty sturdy organza, so I hope that it's gonna do something. I also don't want to have like the puff of the century, so I hope this is going to be enough. And I'm just going to sew it on top here, as this is a curve and this is a straight line. It will already do some sort of volume up here because it's going to lay in this specific way. If you form a straight pattern piece onto a curve, it will do this volant kind of thing. That's basically what the opposite is called. If you have a curved piece and you put it on a straight line, it does the same effect. If you put a straight piece on a curved line, same thing. So this is what it does, and I hope that this already is doing some sort of volume. And then plus on top of that, this will all be gathered with the elastic, so it might do even more for the volume. So I hope that this is going to be sufficient. Made 2, so on both of the sleeves it's going to come onto the seam right there. And then over here I have another sleeve cut out already. This is going to be the lining if I need it, but I think so because this will scratch you. So let's continue. I wanted to point out this is the inside of my sleeve. You can see the 2 layers right there, and it overall looks really, really nice. So it has this one layer which is gathered with the elastic, and then it has the second layer. I used the tool again that I used for the jacket, for the organza jacket, as well as a filling. And there was also a comment which was really, really important and nice that pointed out that I need to check if it were cineme, which I said in my previous video, I need to check if this is heat resistant, water resistant and whatnot, because cineme is made that it forms into specific shapes that you work it into by using heat, water, whatever. So I actually checked, I ironed it on my highest setting. I also put water on it, I steamed it. It doesn't change shape, so it is not cineme, it is just some sort of netting. But thanks for pointing it out. I really appreciate it, and I checked it and I'm fine. So So I finished both sleeves. As you can see, they turned out really, really nicely. They have the puff in them, obviously, and they make a really, really nice puff, in my opinion. So I went ahead and put another elastic on here. I just turned them around, sewed the lining, which is the same fabric, into place, and left all of this here open still, so you can still go into the inside under here. So I can put the elastic in and finish everything nicely in here, also on the side seam. Now I'm going to attach the sleeve onto the bodice piece, and I was thinking on how I should do this because I also need to finish this up here. So I think I'm just gonna put right sides together of the sleeves and the bodice and sew it in place over here, and then I'm going to overlock the whole piece on top and flip it over and top stitch it down here. So everything should look neat and tidy on the inside, and there's no need for lining. And then once I'm done with this, I'm going to continue with the skirt. And that was the last seam. I just attached the skirt to the bodice. I actually overlocked the whole piece in one go so that nothing fringes and stuff, because that material really wanted to fringe all over the place. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to show you a few clips that we managed to do underneath the cherry blossoms here in the Olympia Park. And I am so happy with the videos and the dress in general. I actually went ahead and made some shorts in the same fabric just because the dress is not really a safe dress, if you know what I mean. So I can do anything that I want without worrying too much, which is a plus. I just quickly wanted to remind you guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I am uploading videos similar to this one every Sunday, as well as teaching you how to sew, construct patterns to your specific size, and so on. I have loads of creative ideas that I still want to upload and that I still want to film, as well as a few part 2s that I still need to do. Anyways, give this video a like if you haven't already, leave a comment down below with new video suggestions if you'd like, or feedback. That would also be greatly appreciated. And I'm gonna see you next Sunday. Bye guys!